So, welcome to your last Spring RA training session. There it is. I like that. You have made it, and you get to do whatever you want after this. I'll probably go watch the Beyonce documentary. Yeah. So, anyway, this is similar to last time, but we're just going to kind of go through some campus partners we team up with throughout the year. And so first up, we're going to have Ryan Holt, who oversees the SOA and SAPB office. So give him a good ear. If you have questions, feel free to ask. But other than that, just give him a warm welcome. Thanks, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Doing all right? Nice. Cool. My name is Ryan Holt, and I'm the Director of New Student Orientation Programs. I was actually, thinking about coming in here today, made me think about my residence life experience. I didn't go to Belmont, but where I went, I still remember Jesse Aguilera, who just got married this last week, which is crazy. He was my RA. Good for Jesse. Yeah. One of my favorite guys, but he seriously transformed my college experience. He right away, he's just not a going guy. He went out of his way to see how I was doing. He invited me to lunch. He did all those little things in between that made my college experience so helpful. So I really wanted to say that because you guys kind of go into this role to know how important it is that you're literally shifting and shaping people's experience. I also was an RA. Because of that, I was an RA for 2 years. So I was, Residence Life always has a special place in my heart. So anyways, I just wanted to take literally probably 3 minutes, talk a little bit about what we do and how that relates to what you all do. So my current role, I'm the Director of New Student Orientation Programs, or TT. Hopefully you all know TT. Hopefully you've experienced TT a little bit. So I'll oversee that, but we also, my role's changing a little bit. We recently just hired 2 assistant directors, okay? I was going to draw on the board, but we have no board, so I'm not going to draw on that. So there's myself, and we hired 2 assistant directors, Erica and Courtney, okay? And they're going to help oversee several areas. So student clubs and organizations. Is anybody heard about a student club? Okay, we got a couple folks, yep. So student clubs are going to report to us. We're going to help with Courtney and Erica. SAPB, so that would be like, let's see, where's some classic, I would say Human Breakdown. That happens during Welcome Week Throwbacks Prom, we partner with Fall Follies, the Winter Ball, all those kind of things come out of SAPB, so a great way to get students connected. Then after that, we also have SGA, so SGA will report to us. Anybody in SGA? Anybody? Okay, next year, maybe. Then we also have Greek Life. Anybody in Greek Life? All right, nice. So Greek Life will also kind of report at this. So all of those things are going to kind of fall in our area. Just so you hear me say, our whole goal is really to find people a home at Belmont. I believe that people's Belmont experience is better and is enriched when they have a place where they feel like they're connected and that they belong. And so really that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find that home. I think that's also what you guys are trying to do. Part of your job is really help people find a home and feel like they belong here at Belmont. And so any way we can partner is great. I've had a lot of discussions with Res Life, especially this year. If you're looking for, you're like, oh man, what do I do with my students? We have so many things going on in our area, from clubs, SAPB, you name it. And so if you're ever like, hey, I don't have the energy to plan a program, I would say, don't worry, you don't have to, because we have so many things. So how do you just simply invite them into the things that you're already doing? Sometimes can be the best invitations. I think back to Jesse, that's what he was so great at. He's like, hey, I'm signing up for this intramural sports team. You want to be a part of it? I wasn't even good at sports. So I was like, hey, since Jesse's doing it, I'm in. But he's like, hey, I'm going to this student programming event. You guys want to come? Since he was going, I thought it was cool, so I went. And that really did transform. So all I want to say is that I think you guys have power, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. You guys will be kind of the first all the students see at Belmont. So, if you ever have any questions about how to connect or how to get students connected, feel free to let me know. But we're excited to kind of partner with you guys, help students find a home here at Belmont. Any questions, you guys? That's going to be just throwing that 3 minutes at you. But any questions? Well, then anything that I didn't touch that would be helpful?
Maybe what are like key Belmont events that you take residents to
nice.
throughout the year?
Cool. Yeah, so a couple key events right off the bat. One, welcome week will be going on. So as you guys are kind of recovering from helping moving people in, we have like a whole bunch of events, which I think is a good way for you guys to kind of rest, and then the TT leaders can kind of take charge. So if you ever see folks kind of sitting back in their residence hall, I think that's a great way to encourage, like, hey, let me see your welcome week schedule. What's going on? Have you tried to jump into things like that? So that'd be the first thing I'd say. The other thing is the Brewing Fair. And so that happens right at the kickoff of the year. That is an incredibly important thing, I think, both for clubs, but also for new students, so they can find out what's going on. This year, we're actually going to bump it back a week. So it's going to kick off, usually it's the first Thursday. This next year, it's going to be the second Thursday, okay? And the reason why we're doing that is actually kind of for two reasons. One, to give new freshmen a chance to settle down a little bit before they like sign up for 35 clubs. Help them breathe a little bit, maybe just settle down. And then also for the clubs, so that they have a little bit of time to get organized and kind of get everything in a row before we do Brewing Fair. So that'll happen second Thursday, so I think that's a big one. Throwback Prom, that's the first Friday event that SAPD throws. It's a lot of fun, there's DJ, dancing, so if you're looking at something, especially the first Friday, it can be intimidating. People come in with kind of this expectation of what college is, and they're still trying to make friends, and so like, oh, what do I have to do? It's Friday night, I should do something cool, and then they just have no idea what to do. And so that's an easy win, I think, to plug them into that. Those are a couple kind of right after, within the first 2 weeks, I think if they kind of go to those two things, and they kind of tend to get plugged into their club, they kind of get to see the SAPG schedule and get plugged that way. Any other events that you guys are thinking of that you're like, oh, this would be a cool one to get people plugged into? No? Cool. But I do I'm a big believer of shared experience matters, so experiencing things with folks. I have one of my mentors always says this line that kind of has stuck with me. He always says, "Who's your co-pilot?" And what he means by that is when a lot of times we think we have to do like leadership training and things like that, which is important. But he just talks about who are you bringing along with you as you're doing life. And so he's like, even like, hey, if I'm going to the grocery store, some of that, new freshmen, they have no idea where to get groceries, but can come with me. I'm going to go eat. Who am I bringing with me? Who's my co-pilot there? If I'm going to this event, who's my co-pilot there? And so maybe kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're just living life and realize this is all new for them, and you kind of have your rhythms. They're still trying to figure out what that is, and so simply by bringing them with you, kind of be the co-pilot, that alone can really shift their experience. So I really like to think about that with our staff. TT leaders, that's kind of what we talk about. We're really just kind of bringing people along with us as we're journeying life, and they're just kind of figuring out with us. So it's not really this, I'm above them, but we're just doing life together. So maybe that could be a helpful thing to stick to. Alright, now I'm just throwing out random things that random people have told me over the years. So, who knows where that'll go if I keep going. So, any final thoughts? Feel good? Cool. Seriously though, I hope that we can partner. I always see us taking things together, especially moving day. You'll see all the TT leaders. I know that we feel like we're one big community with the same goal, helping people feel like they have a place here and a home. So if you have any ideas on how we can do that better or any thoughts, know that my door is always open. Alright, good luck. You do important work.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. It's like, I'm just gonna keep coming back. It's getting older. So, second person we've got is, Mark, is it Lade? Yes. Okay. Assistant Chief of Operations, the man responsible for keeping us all safe. Give him a warm round of applause.
All right, I'll try and keep it quick. I apologize. I think most of you have had this quick little briefing from us before. I wrote down the notes so I wouldn't forget them. First things first, our Chief Cunningham would like y'all to have his cell phone number so you can call him if you need something. Believe me, him and I get calls probably 2 or 3 times a night anyway from our officers, so call him first, obviously, but if you have issues. Area code is 719-213-3979. And I'm not sure if that's at the desk that y'all work at or not, but he did make it a point, since he's not here, for me to tell you his cell phone number. So there you go. A little bit about our department. We're 24/7. We have armed officers in every shift. We have 33 officers, 21 are armed right now, give or take. Several with either former law enforcement, former military, things of that nature. The key thing I want to get across is we want you to call us early and often. If you think there's an issue, call us. We would rather know about something, whether it's like a in-progress type of crime or an issue, or whether it's a complaint from somebody. We'd rather know about it at that time than you hear about it later on. The way it works is just about every single complaint that comes to our department works its way to me at some point, so I'm going to have to respond to it anyway. So it's better to know more information up front than to start searching for it later. You're not bothering any of us if you call us. That's what we're here for. Let's see. What else do I got? Okay, if any of you, I'm assuming everyone here this isn't their first time as an RA. A lot of you are returning RAs. All first time. Okay, I apologize. Never mind. In years past, we get security notices and BOLOs. Be on the lookout for certain people, whether it's a Belmont-affiliated crime or incident that took place, or whether it's from an outside agency. Metro's right down the street. Some of the areas around campus aren't safest. And we will share those with Residence Life. It'll get posted up in the little area by your workstation. That's for you to look at. It's technically supposed to be law enforcement sensitive, but that's just so you know who it is that you're on the lookout for, right? You gotta know what they look like. So just know that those are there. Those aren't to go to like every single student, because we don't want to cause a panic if it's just something that's not serious enough. Blessing. Let's see. If you would like to set up any sort of defensive tactics or active shooter response training with your residents, you would contact us. We do a lot of that programming. Our contact for that is specifically Assistant Chief Marlene Hall. And if you look at our website, it has all her contact information. If you don't get a response from her, feel free to let me know. If you're calling from a Belmont phone, my direct line is 5537, but otherwise it's 615-460-5537. That's my office. I'm generally there between like 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And then there's, again, you can look me up and grab my email off of our website. What we do is a 1 hour and a 2 hour self-defense class. The only difference between the two, obviously one is longer, and you go a little bit more in depth in some of the moves, and then the 2 hour one, we have one of our officers get in one of those red man suits, and you actually get to use the stuff that you're learning, right? It doesn't hurt them too badly, so it's meant, they're getting paid overtime, they're okay. The active shooter response training is also stuff that's supposed to be ingrained into the freshman orientation or first year orientation, and all the other like convos and stuff like that. But if you wanted to bring it specifically to your residence hall, we can do that as well. We have a 20-minute variety. We have 45 minutes an hour. You tell us what you're looking for, and we can provide the training for them. It could also be used as convo time. You would just need to know in advance, and we would go pick up one of those little scanner thingamajigs and take care of that. If you want to set up events with your officers, we have a program in our department called the Honorary Resident Program, and we assign officers on mostly daytime and evening shift to first year residence halls, I think primarily, just to be in that area more often, get to know the students more, just interact with them, more community-based approach. We tell them that they need to make sure they're involved in at least a certain amount of activities per semester. Right, so they're going to reach out to the RD in that residence hall, who should possibly reach out to you. If you have an idea for something, we've done like we made s'mores one time. It was a lot of it involves food, which we greatly appreciate. But anything it is, there was a haunted house at one of the residence halls a couple years ago. Sometimes there's like making pancakes and stuff like that before finals. Our officers are encouraged to take part in those things. So you would, again, let Assistant Chief Hall know about that. She handles all the programming and developmental things like that. And we would set that up. One thing that we want to keep getting out to the campus community, besides parking issues, which I'll let you guys ask me questions about that here in a little bit. Escorts, jump starts, lockouts, you know, if you're stranded on the road, even if it's not on campus, we want you to call us, non-emergency number. It's 460-6617. If you need that again later, I'll let you know. I can give it to you again. And then our emergency number is 6911. All right, that's from any Belmont phone. If you're on your phone, then you got to do the 460-6911. Right. But the escorts are anywhere on campus to on campus, right? And we obviously make exceptions. We can't be your ride to the airport and back, or you know, if you went to a Titans game and you tailgated a little too much, we can't necessarily be the ones that come pick you up. We won't leave you stranded. We will find other options for you, maybe an Uber credit or Lyft or something like that. But we want you to let us know so we can try and help you. Same with jump starts, lockouts. And we've had a couple students recently who ran out of gas, and we sent officers to go not fill up their tank, but we got a gas can. They put $2-3 from Circle K or wherever, put enough gas in the car so they can get where they need to go. You can think of it as like a AAA, but within a little geo-fence around campus. All right. But like I said, if it's farther out, if you're in East Nashville, if you're something like that, we still want you to call us, because there may be things that we can do to assist. We're not. Our promise is that we're not going to leave you stranded somewhere. Whether it's that we physically go get you or physically go assist you, that may not always be the case, but we will not leave you stranded somewhere. I think that's about it. Did I miss anything? Do any of y'all have any questions about anything? That's good. Usually people are upset about parking, so it's pretty good. All right, well, thank you. I won't take up any more of your time.
Alrighty. 2 down. The next person is the man who is going to get us all into the shape my high school PE teacher said I never had. Joe House.
I didn't know I was going to be recorded doing this, so if I get nervous, I apologize. Hey, if you have your computer open real quick, just close it for 1 second. I know you're probably taking notes, but just close it. Let's do something together. It's a stressful time. I did this in chapel the other day. I hope they appreciate it. If they didn't, too bad. Close your eyes for me. We're going to breathe in for 3 counts, hold it for 2, let it out for 4. Right? All together. Breathe in. Hold it for 2. Breathe out for 4. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Last time. Take a breath in. Hold it. And breathe out. Open your eyes. Oh, yeah. Clarity. Peace. Beautiful. If you need to take notes, you can. I don't think there's going to be a ton of stuff that you need to take notes on. But like Will said, my name is Joe. I am from the Department of Fitness and Recreation, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited to kind of like low-key announce some cool stuff that we're going to be doing next year that hopefully we can do together. How many of you have been over to see us in FitRec? Raise your hand. All right, how many of you have not been over to see us? That will change next year. Perfect. We're going to bring it right here. I'm excited about that. So those of you who've been over, what do you do when you come over to FitRec? What do you usually partake in?
Iron Body.
Iron Body. That's right. That's my class if you didn't know. Mondays and Wednesdays. Come by today, 4 p.m. We'll be there. What else?
Hump Day Hip Hop.
Hump Day Hip Hop. What else? I heard something back here.
Zumba.
Zumba. Okay. What else?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. How do you like it?
Love it.
Love it. Perfect. That's a new one this year that we love too. What else? Anything else?
Morning yoga.
Morning yoga.
The gym.
The gym. Nice. Using as expected. Love that. What else?
Intramural.
Rhythm ride, intramurals. What's right here?
The climbing wall.
Climbing wall. So you guys said a lot of stuff, but one thing I do want to point out, a lot of what we said was classes. And that's awesome. Love it. I teach 2 of them. I'm a group fitness instructor at heart, so you might see some of that come out right here. But we have more than that, and that's really what we want to work with you guys on this year. We are fitness and recreation, so yes, we have the fitness side, we have the recreation side, but the side that we don't really get to see is the educational kind of developmental side. And one of the cool things about our department, you may not know this, you may have realized it but not made the connection, we are like 99.8% student run. There are 137 employees who work with fitness and recreation. 2 of them are not students. That's myself and our director. So between fitness staff, between trainers, between instructors, between intramural reps, everybody you see pretty much is a student in some capacity. And so that puts us in a cool position in that we are an educational department as much as we are a fitness place. We are educating our students to be better. We're educating our students to be better trainers, to be better instructors, to be better reps, but more than that, we're educating our students to be better people. And that's something that I think we share with you guys. You guys have programs, you guys have cool stuff that you do, but at the end of the day, we are in the business of transformation of students on this campus. And so we want to kind of work with you to make sure that we can achieve that, and you can achieve that, and students can be happy, and we can just make this hunky-dory Belmont community where everybody's just great and achieving success. And I think we can. But one of the things that we're going to do to kind of meet that is providing more opportunities for engagement, for education in less structured events, which is a whole lot of business hot words that we're going to break down and make more friendly. We're going to do something really cool this year in that we are going to provide regularly scheduled educational sessions on how to use equipment, on how to use specific types of workouts, and how to expand your vocabulary. How many of you guys are freshmen? How many of you guys are not freshmen? Freshmen or not, how many of you guys have been to what we called Fit Fest in the past? Anybody? 1, 2, beautiful, perfect. May not be happening again, but that's okay because what we're going to do is we're going to substitute that with these more regular things that take the place of Fit Fest, right? Maybe you can't make it that one night, but you still want to learn how to use a sandbag because it's not just some cool thing full of sand. We're probably going to have that regularly throughout the semester. We hope that by doing that, we create opportunities for you to take your residents, to connect with them, and to come see us, get out of the res hall, get out of that place where they have to deal with homework and roommate drama and all that crap. Come see us in a place that's nice, relaxing, hopefully. I know gym intimidation is a thing. But by doing that, we hope to kind of build that education, to build your connections, and to build our connections with them. In addition to that, we've in the past done res hall things. And we are certainly down to keep doing that, but we also want you guys to help take advantage of those things that we currently have in place. So who said Zumba? Zumba on Tuesday in the rec gym? It's a party, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say that yes or no, it's a great place to bring residents to have a good time and to get to know people?
Oh, for sure. And it also makes exercise more approachable.
It's totally approachable. I understand Iron Body Blast is an intense name, and it's an intense class. We get after it. That's how we brand it on purpose. Zumba, not that case. Zumba is inclusive, it is fun, but it's a great thing that we already have in place that we can leverage to build those connections. Who said climbing wall? My man right here, right? Climbing wall? Climbing wall is a great place for us to have those connections as well. And next year, we just got out of our wrap-up meeting where we are talking about how we are going to create opportunities that decrease the barriers of entry to participating at the wall. How many of you have seen that wall and you're like, nope, not happening? Yeah, we're going to create ways for that to be less scary. And even if it is still scary, for you to come out and have a good time and learn what the climbing wall is, right? I can tell you this. When I get hooked into that thing, I'm still a little scared, but never has it let me down. Especially if you got somebody belaying it, and if you need to, I'll belay you. I'm happy to. It's a lot of fun. The point of the whole conversation is we've got things in place. You guys have things in place. Let's come together and let's work together to make sure we are still educating, transforming, and engaging the students that are on this campus. We can do it. Just reach out to us. We're happy to help. Questions? Yeah.
Will it make the training stuff that you also offer at the Tall Hall?
Some of it will be, yeah. Because Tall Hall is like a little space tucked away under there, especially if you're trying to do cardio. We have 5 state-of-the-art treadmills in there. I would check it out if you haven't been over there yet. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, we'll have some stuff that's over there as well. And we're looking into how we can continue to do cool stuff over there. If you have ideas, joe.mankowski at Belmont, hit me up. Come find me under the stairs. It's great. It's like a cave. Anything else? Other questions? I'm super excited about this coming year. We've got some great stuff on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to how we can build that engagement with you guys. Thank you for your time this morning. Give yourselves a hand for doing this. You deserve it. If you think of any other questions, like I said, I'm in the Fit Rec. I'm tucked underneath the staircase to take you upstairs, so come find me. I'd be happy to help you out. But you guys have a great rest of your day.
Alright, so I'm going to lower the bar again. Not for anybody but myself. Okay, so we talked about physical fitness, and now we're going to talk about our mental fitness. us. So if you would welcome the director of the counseling center, Miss.
Oh, I know. I was like, well, don't make me follow Joe. Hey guys. Okay, so I just pulled up our website really because in a minute I just want to show you kind of a new tool that we have. So my name is Catherine. Hello to all of you. I'm not going to make you raise your hand if you've seen our services because I'm not going to do that. But I'm glad Joe actually had us take a breath. That is actually a mindful moment. We were really excited to partner with them this last year to provide mindfulness in a different setting outside the counseling office. And I would say that's really what we're looking to do. So our services have changed pretty drastically over this last year. What I really want you guys to know, we had no waiting list this spring. It's a drastic difference from the fall. We are able to see students on a much more quickly kind of one-on-one basis. What I want to show you real quickly is, and I know I'm sorry if I walked out of the video. Here we go. So if students want to see us, they can walk in. If they're not in crisis, they can walk in anytime between 10 and 3. And what they're going to do is they're going to come in, fill out a little bit of paperwork, and then they're going to actually meet with somebody one-on-one to talk about what's going on and then kind of what plan of care makes the most sense for them. We have really expanded our group options. We have anything from a walking group, like a walk and talk group, to a DBT skills group, to a relationship group, anxiety skill group. I think we offered 22 groups in the fall, and we've offered about 12 groups twice in the spring. So there's a lot going on in our department. That does not include the mindfulness groups out in Fit Rec, some of the convos that we're doing every Friday at 10 just to talk about mental health. One of the things we're really excited about is our self-help. Now, we have never had self-help. I wanted to pull this up to show you how to get here. This is Tao. Let me just click on this for you. Just so you guys know, you all have free access to this. So as an RA, if you're thinking about, hey, I need to know, for yourselves, if you just want to manage, there's anxiety, depression, stress, relationship, how to manage like communication. If you want to brush up on a topic that you might be doing a convo on or a program with your group, use this. If you want to just work on it with yourself, use it. It's all therapeutic based, like real stuff in here. There's videos, there's interactive kind of journals. It's all confidential. We can't see what you do. We can't track it. But we can work with you. Like if you wanted to create kind of a little class for your residents, we can do that for you on this. So we're really excited about the use of this. This is brand new to us as of December. So we're just now kind of getting in the groove with it and figuring out how to best use it. But it is just on our website under self-help. You'll just want to tell your residents to use their Belmont email address and they have full access to the suite. So really, if you have anybody interested in counseling, you just tell them to come by between 10 and 3. We do see crises from 8 to 4:30, walk-in basis. They don't need to wait. Please tell them, if you're not walking them over, tell them to tell us, hey, I really need to see somebody immediately. If they don't tell us or you don't call ahead and let us know and they don't self-identify, sometimes we don't know and they may wait a little bit longer. So make sure you just let us know. We're also on call with you guys and the RDs. Your RDs over your building will help you figure out when you need to make that call to us. But we are on call from 4:31 to 7:59 every single day of the year. So if you get in trouble with something late at night and you're not sure what to do and you need somebody to help you assess, obviously your RDs are there, but please, talk to them too about when it's appropriate to pull us in for an emergency consult. I would say really we are there to help. We are hoping to be a little more available this next year to do more programming with you guys. We are bringing on 5 new clinical interns where in the past we've only had 2 to 3. So our hope is that they can also maybe liaison more intentionally with you guys. So yeah, we're really, really excited about this really large class coming in and really scared too. We're going to be doing some of the breathing that Joe was doing. But I would love to just stop for a minute, answer some quick questions. I want to stay within our time limit, but any questions you guys have about how to access us, any concerns you have, more specifics about group or therapy? Yeah?
So, is there any reform or any change to the rule that once you've attended a certain amount of sessions that
Yep.
you cannot continue
Yeah.
and you have to be relocated? What is that?
So we've never had a session limit. A lot of colleges will say you have 12 sessions for your 4 years. Or you have 3 sessions per semester. We've never had a session limit in a black and white. You cannot have more than X number of sessions. I will say that like a doctor's office, when you have an illness, you go in, you consult with that doctor to figure out what's going on, and they may prescribe antibiotics. They may prescribe you to go to a specialist. So we operate the same way. When you're coming in for clinical mental health, this is a clinical mental health professional consultation. We're going to be assessing you, figuring out what's going on, and within our capacity, we may be able to treat you. There's some students that we see more intentionally for a more like several sessions in a row, more intense, and then they go out. There's some students that we see once a month, kind of a little more spread out. In general, though, I will say we are short-term oriented. What that means is if you need somebody to meet with, or if your folks need somebody to meet with once a week, every week, for their 4 years, we just don't have the capacity to meet that need. And so if that's the case, or if we assess that there's a specialty needed, a lot of times eating disorder, you need a team, you need a physician, you need a nutritionist. It's actually unethical for me to treat you. Eating disorders, addictions, we may be consulting and helping, but we're gonna really be referring those folks out. Complex trauma, we have a lot of trauma training, but depending on what's going on with that student, we may need to pull in some specialists for that. We are working to, we've got some folks that don't take insurance and are working on a sliding scale, because that's become more and more of a concern with students. So we do have those resources, some folks that are working with us that will provide services, especially when insurance doesn't cover you in Tennessee. We're running into that a lot more. So there's not a session limit, but we are more short term. So if you hear folks talking about being referred out or being bridged, we bridge you. We don't just let you go. We'll continue to see you until you get connected to the person that you need to be seen. But like a doctor's office, if we're not the appropriate ones, we're going to tell you pretty quickly, because that's unethical for me to not say that to you. So we want you to get better as quick as possible with as much support as possible. Does that answer your question enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Freshmen who I know, or teachers
Yeah.
are concerned that
Absolutely.
they're not going to be able to get long.
Oh, absolutely. And that is, and I think I think we define long-term clinical care in a different way than maybe some people define I just want long-term therapy, supportive therapy. We just don't have the capacity to meet 8,000 students weekly on an hour-to-hour basis. One of the things that we changed this last year is we changed that's why we do the walk-in clinic, because we're making each plan of care with students individualized. So we kind of threw out the idea that all therapy has to be 50 minutes. We have therapists working with students for 20 minutes every other week. Another student may need a 50-minute session every week. Another student may need a 10-minute check-in once a month. So we've kind of thrown out the idea that everybody needs that same type of care, and we're making it a lot more individualized. So you may begin to hear some of that of like, hey, my session was half an hour, or we meet every 3 weeks, or we meet once a month. That's because we're doing a little more strategic care of what do you actually need. And then do we need to step up the intensity, or do we need to step it down because you're actually doing pretty well? So, yeah. And I would say, please let us know if there's some of those concerns and questions. We're happy to try to clarify some of that and answer some of that. There's been a lot of change, so I know there's a lot of confusion about some of our services sometimes. Any last question before Health Services jumps up here? Just remember TAL. I'll say it's a great tool. We all have access to it, and it really may help with you, with some of your residents, even if you want to brush up on some communication skills and strategies that you can then use with them as they get into some roommate conflicts. Because that never happens, right? Yeah, okay, thank you guys.
Okay, we're at our last one, and I'm out of corny jokes. So I'll just do a straight introduction. The newly appointed interim director of health services, Dr. Catherine Dambrino. Yes, she's going to keep us all from getting immune. Nope, we want immunity. We don't want to get sick.
All right, I'm just handing out some pamphlets that just kind of give an overview of what we do in health services. Also my card, because I just want you to have my contact details in case you have questions or anything. I'm always open to do this for you. So, as you mentioned, my name is Catherine. Some of you may or may not have seen me as a patient. I hope not. I hope you're so never, ever, ever sick in your entire time as college, but as we know, that will probably not proved to be true. But I actually am a little nervous. There's so many more of you than I thought there would be. So if you see like a red rash creeping up here, just totally please ignore it. So health services, how many of you are aware that we have a clinic here on campus? Okay, good. I actually am surprised there's some people that didn't raise a hand. I hope it's because you're sleepy. Because I do want you to know exactly where we are and how to get in touch with us or come see us anytime you're sick or you have a resident that's sick. So we are located on campus in McWhorter Hall. So if you know where the Belmont Pharmacy is, it's right across from this building. McWhorter is right across from the main fountains in the center where the big lawn is that you're not allowed to walk on a lot of the time. If you walk in and go to the right, you'll see the Belmont Pharmacy, and just keep walking into that waiting room, and then you'll see the health clinic. We are open from 8 to 6 during the school year from Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays we're open from 8 to 12. So that's something I do want you to know, that we are open on Saturdays, 8 to 12, to see students and faculty and staff then. We are staffed primarily by, and just to give you also during the summer that is a little bit different, and during holidays we'll usually just be open from 8 to 4:30. But we see faculty, staff, and students. We are staffed by nurse practitioners, so there's 3 nurse practitioners usually in the clinic at all times, as well as 3 to 4 registered nurses. We do a wide range of services for our students here. We will do allergy injections for people who have allergy issues. We also do travel consultations for students who study abroad. We obviously do sick visits, so anytime you wake up and you're not feeling super well, come in and see us. The way that you can make an appointment is through your health portal. So everyone has access for your My Belmont account to go through and make an appointment with any of the providers there. So it's super easy. You can just do it yourself. You can also call us or walk in. I don't recommend walking in unless you absolutely have to, just because I want you to be able to get seen at a time that works with your schedule, or for any student that you're giving advice to with making appointments, a time that works with their schedule, just because we tend to be pretty booked every single day. A lot of illness, unfortunately, on college campuses. Everybody living in really close quarters in the residence halls. Unfortunately, germs travel. We see a lot of mono. We see a lot of strep throat. I'm sure you got an email about mumps. That's not super common, by the way, so don't get too worried about that. But that also brings me to the next thing about health requirements. So whenever you enroll to be a student here, you probably got bombarded with emails about your health requirements, and I'm so sorry if you wanted to kill us during that time. But it is super important so that we can avoid things like mumps. As part of being a Belmont student, it is required to get in a medical health history form. That is where you would put in all of your health history information, medical history, mental health history. It's all confidential. Anything you give us or anything we talk about in a visit is confidential and private. We do not share that unless we believe that you're at risk to be at harm to yourself or others. So just know that everything is confidential. It doesn't go to your parents or anywhere else. So medical history form, we also get your immunizations. So we do have required immunizations that you can see listed on our website if you're unsure about that. The MMR is one of them that has a mumps, measles, rubella, and we usually require 2 of those. So we do require that. We also do require you to have health insurance. I will say what we run into a lot of times that can be a problem sometimes is students that come in have health insurance, but it doesn't necessarily work in Tennessee. So if you ever get questions about that from other students, just know that that is something we do require, but sometimes even having the health insurance, meeting that requirement doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to see a specialist in town. It can sometimes be a challenge. As Catherine Cornelius mentioned with the counseling center, we also do help with referrals. So as she actually did a really good job of explaining kind of how a health clinic works. You come and see us for an illness. We primarily deal with pretty common acute illnesses, like I said, mono, strep, colds, flu, stomach pain, things like that, skin issues. We also do a lot of mental health as well. But you may come to us and it's something that is sort of outside of our scope of practice, something that needs to be seen by a specialist. A good example would be if you come in and we're worried that you might have diabetes. We test you for it, it's looking like that might be the case. At that point, I definitely want you to see an endocrinologist, correct? You don't want me overseeing your diabetes, not an endocrinologist. You want an endocrinologist doing that. So in that case, we would definitely help you with a referral. And if you have a student that comes in, that's living in a residence hall that asks you about that, like, I want to go to health services, but I hear they don't do this, so what do? I feel overwhelmed, but still send them to us, because if they come in and they say, you know, I have this weird cardiac issue, or I have this weird, you know, pulmonary issue, or whatever it may be, we can still help them find specialists in the area. And that can oftentimes feel very, very overwhelming for students, especially being far from home. We have a lot of students from different states and a lot of international students as well. We want to make sure that you're connected with who you need in the community, and that you're not having a health issue go either undiagnosed or poorly managed, because that can absolutely interfere with your quality of life here, but also your success as a student. So, other things I wanted to mention, we talked about the study abroad, but we also do our lab tests, and we can give booster shots and immunizations as well. So if for some reason you don't have all your health requirements and you're like, what do? You can come see us and we can help you with that. We do not take insurance, even though we require insurance to be a student at Belmont. Our clinic doesn't take insurance or bill insurance. We are free to you as a student. So anytime you come in for a visit, you can come see us, and we're not going to charge you unless we run a test. So if for some reason, like I need to test you for strep, it's usually like $10, that kind of thing. So some tests and immunizations and shots and things like that can be a little more expensive, but we always try to do a good job of talking with you about that before we order something or do something. We can send prescriptions to the Belmont Pharmacy. They do take insurance. So if for some reason, you know, we prescribe something and it's going to be a little more expensive, you can usually bill insurance through them. Do any of you have any questions for me at this time? Yep.
Are there any specific restrictions on medications that can be in the Belmont?
Yeah, good question. So the Belmont Pharmacy doesn't necessarily have restrictions for what they can distribute. Sometimes they might not have something in stock, and so they have to order it, but they usually have it by the next day, next business day by noon, has been my experience, if they order it early enough. We in the clinic do have a little bit of restriction in what we prescribe. We aren't going to be prescribing ADHD medications like Adderall and things like that. We get that question a lot. We currently do not prescribe oral contraceptives. Anyway, that's an ongoing discussion. And also we don't do like narcotics and that kind of thing. But we do prescribe pretty much, you know, antibiotics. I do a lot myself. I do a lot of mental health consultations. So I prescribe a lot of like SSRIs and things like that. Yeah, we definitely, the pharmacy itself will typically bill pretty much anything. Yeah, good question. Any other questions? Yeah.
Why do you guys require insurance for no visit?
So we don't take it because billing insurance, oftentimes, like I've kind of pointed out, a lot of the insurances don't work in Tennessee, so we run in, that would be a kind of an issue with access. We want all of our students to be able to use our clinic at any time. So we just do that as a way to ensure that every single student can come see us at any time. Unfortunately, as you know, in the United States, insurance is a very limiting factor. Not everybody's insured, and then the ones that are, it doesn't necessarily work the same across the board. So that's why we do that. We require it though because, like I said, it's more about preventative. If you came and you didn't expect to get appendicitis, but all of a sudden you're coming in to see me with right lower quadrant, really severe abdominal pain, and I need to send you to the ER, you know, for surgery. If you didn't prepare and have that insurance, then oftentimes, you know, that can be a really, really, really expensive bill. So we just kind of do that more to help you out, you know, to have preventative care in that way. Does that help answer your question? Any other questions? I've given you my information. I know that a lot of times, unfortunately, as RAs, you tend to be on the front lines with medical illnesses. You tend to be triaging when you shouldn't. But if you ever come up with a question or you're just really unsure about something, please, please, please reach out to me. I always am happy to help or to educate in any way that I can. And I like to get to know you guys as well. So hopefully you won't get sick and have to see me, but just know that we're a resource for you, and we're happy to help in any way that we can. Yeah. Thank you for what you do for our students.